Hey, what's cooking, Jay?
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us again at Gunter's Kitchen. Today we're making bread. We're making a white flour and rye mixed bread, so Mischbrot in German, and it's fully sourdough. So now we start our process of making bread. So we make our poolish, which is the flour and the water, and we make our starter. So we activating the sourdough. We are using 200 mils of warm water, and we're adding 20 gram of the sourdough. 20 gram, it's a bit more than a teaspoon. We dissolve the sourdough in the warm water, in the 200 ml of warm water. All right? And now it's all dissolved. Then we're adding 200 gram of our rye flour. It's a wholemeal rye flour. Here we go. And then we're just basically mixing it. We mix this all up. We are adding that into a glass jar. Okay? So as you can see, it's quite firm. We put that in there and we're pushing it down. Then we use a rubber band, and we put the rubber band exactly where the dough stops. Yeah? And then we put a lid on it. And now this, but the lid is open as you can see, it's just placed on top. This now goes in the oven with just the light on. You can leave it on a bench. I find that much more consistent to put it in the oven with the light on. So now what we have to do, we make our poolish. So we use our flour. This is 500 gram flour, plain white flour, baker's flour, a little bit higher in protein. And then we're adding cold water, clean, no soda on it. We don't want to introduce any bacteria yet. Okay, and then we just mix it. It just has to be roughly mixed, and that will do. We put some cling film, some Glad wrap on it, and we let that sit the same time as our starter activates. Then we mix it all together. Okay, so it has been nearly 14 hours, sourdough. Let's get it out of the oven. Look at this. Look at these bubbles. It's risen unbelievably. Just beautiful. And if you smell it, it doesn't even smell sour. It just smells delicious. Also, our poolish is nice. So now, as I said, the sourdough is very forgiving if you've got a rye one. A rye one you can leave longer, just as long as it has risen enough. Yeah? So make sure, don't stress. If it's another 2 hours in there, it's all fine. All right? So now, let's put everything together. The most important thing is that this first stage is fermented or risen enough. So if it's not fermented, that means it's not active. And then your bread will not rise enough. Okay? Using a glass is the best for you to see if it has risen enough. I normally just put it in a bowl because I've done it, I do this every week. I've done it over and over again, and I know when it's ready. Also, the more you use the sourdough, the stronger, the more you feed your sourdough in the fridge, the stronger the sourdough gets. So please, at the beginning, don't be scared of using a bit of yeast. Yeah? The only thing is you can't let it sit in the fridge for 24 hours. Otherwise, it just overproofs. All right? Okay, so now we're adding 12 gram of salt. Then we're adding about 6 gram bread spice mix. Then we're adding 3 tablespoons of sunflower seeds, or about 40 gram. The same in sesame seeds. Now what seeds you put in is really up to you. You don't have to put any seeds in if you don't like seeds in it, or if you're allergic to sesame seeds, or if you don't like sunflower seeds. Up to you. All right? then we're putting it in the machine. So slow until everything has mixed in, and then we will increase the speed. Now we have increased the speed, and we let it run like this for about 5 minutes until it nicely comes loose and it develops more gluten. Now, because of the poolish, we already have got a good start on the gluten, so we don't have to let it run as long. As you can see, it has come loose from the bowl. That will do. Okay, let's take it out. Wet our hands, but it's very, very nice dough. And then we're putting it in. I normally leave it in there, but to show you about the stretch and folds, we're putting it into a bowl. I put some fry flour in there. Take my card and put it in there. There you go. Very nice. So now we let it sit for half an hour, and then we do our first stretch and fold. The sourdough starter. Don't stress if you go on holiday or anything. I have had the sourdough starter a while ago, sitting 3 weeks in the fridge because I was on holiday and I didn't get it, refreshed every week or fed every week. So the only thing is, I like the sourdough starter in a rye. I believe the rye flour is stronger, and also I like to keep it fairly firm. Don't make it too runny. Yeah. So if your rye flour doesn't absorb the water, add a bit more rye flour. Don't just go after equal, or just go by feel. After a while, you get the hang of it. All right? Just a little tip. Okay, so half an hour has passed. Let's do our first stretch and fold. I always think a wet hand helps, and you just go from the outside to the middle. Turn your bowl, and again, until you find it's gotten firm. If it gets firm, then I probably go twice around. Just keep your hands damp or wet, so the dough won't stick to your fingers. All right, and we are done. And we're covering it again. And we do the same thing 2 more times. All right, I'll see you on the last fold. I've done 3 stretch and folds, and now it's ready to go into our dish. Just dust it well with rye flour. I always use rye flour because it seems to work well. And then flour on the bench. It's still quite soft, the dough, but believe me, it'll turn into a perfect loaf of bread. So what I do now is I just shape it up to the middle. And this one now goes in the fridge a minimum of 12 hours. You can have it 24 hours in the fridge, but I normally leave it 12 hours because the 12-hour cold fermentation breaks down the carbohydrates into a simpler sugar, so it's much easier to digest. So it's still white flour, but it's much better for you. As you can see, now the bread is taking a nice shape, and I'm going to put it in with the opening down the bottom. And that's it. Now, please do not put glad wrap on top or cling film. Just put a tea towel on top, because if you put glad wrap on top, you put it in the fridge, it will keep the heat in, and it will rise, and when you get it out of the fridge, you have got half of it hanging off your dish. All right? So just a tea towel and leave it in the fridge for at least 12 hours. Okay, I'll see you when we put it in the oven. Okay, so it has been 12 hours. I took the bread out of the fridge. It's nicely risen. So now we have preheated the oven, 230 degrees. Put the paper on top and put it upside down and just lift it up. Beautiful. So now what you can do, I put it upside down, so it will automatically get a crack, but I also cut it a bit. Yeah, I give it one slice, one cut, and then I like sesame seeds on top. So I spray it with my water, with my steam water for the baking, quite liberally. And then I just put sesame seeds all over it. Yeah, and that'll do. Okay, so now carefully transfer it onto the tray, and then I'll put the Dutch oven on there, upside down, like it was before. To 25 minutes. And then we take the lid off. And we'll see how it goes. And I'll turn it down to 180. And then I put it in for another 25 minutes. I just need a little knife to get under there. Oh, Jesus. It's hot. All right, now let's bake it out. 25. Okay, so another 25 minutes. It's gone past, and let's take it out of the oven. Ooh, nice and dark. So now we let it cool down, and then we'll try it. We'll see what it's like. It's 100% sourdough, and I hope it's delicious. Okay, so now the bread has cooled down overnight, and because we like the flavor to develop, now let's cut it and see what the 12-hour cold fermentation looks like. We will compare it to the 24-hour cold fermentation. Okay. Yeah, not bad, not bad. The pouring could be a bit larger, but it's fairly soft, yeah, and it looks really moist. That is the white flour and the rye. The rye flour makes it really moist. Okay, so the bread has been refrigerated for 24 hours. Now let's turn it out. Cook it the same way as we did the 12-hour one, and then we'll see the difference. Okay, so the time is up. Let's take the bread out. Whew. Okay, let's put it on a rack. Oh, hot. Okay, so now let's compare the sourdough breads, the 12-hour to the 24-hour cold fermentation. Let's see, let's cut it in half. Still a tiny bit warm. It does smell a little bit more sour than the 12-hour one, but let's try. It's nice and fluffy, nice and soft. So now you can see the difference. It has risen more than the 12-hour one, even though the dough was firmer than this one. Okay, now let's try. Definitely more sour. So if you prefer your sourdough bread to be tiny bit more sour, do the 24-hour one. If you don't like the sourness, stick to the 12, maybe maximum 14-hour one. All right, so next time, my daughter's gonna make the white bread. So keep your eyes open, because not everyone likes rye. She makes a nice, fluffy, very soft white sourdough. And as always, subscribe, like, follow us, keep your notifications on so you don't miss anything. Because every Saturday we bake, and every Wednesday we cook something on the stove. All right, so until next time, Gunter's Kitchen. Bye for now.